Well, a very good evening and welcome to KTN Business. My name is Abi Agina. For years, the Central Bank of Kenya has operated under the stewardship of the governor, who acted both as chairman and CEO of the bank. But now the government is looking to establish the position of chairman, who will henceforth be charged with setting the policy of CBK and supervising the performance of the governor. In the third of the fourth part of the CBK succession series, Adelaide Changole looks at the role of the chairman and the potential problems that could arise from the two centers of power at the central bank.
In 1966, the central bank was established by an act of parliament as the state sought to create an institution that would set independent monetary and financial policies. Since then, the bank has operated under the guidance of the governor, who has chaired the board and also managed the administrative matters of the bank. But in 2011, all that changed.
And that is when the sharing went way high, if you remember. And the parliament went out of its way to want to understand the issues. And the feeling that time is that central bank acted like a cartel to protect some internal big boys to gain out of that famous exchange movement of that time. Hence, almost what I would call a one single voice of the whole house that we must bring a chairman.
Until now, however, the bank has not had a substantive chairman, with Dr. Mbui Wagasha holding the position in acting capacity since February 2013. But the state is now moving to rectify this. In an advert on March 11th, the Public Service Commission called on interested parties to send their applications for their position. According to the advert, the incoming chairman would be charged with determining the policy and objectives of the central bank, overseeing performance of the bank and the governor, and monitoring the use of bank resources, all activities that had been under the purview of the governor previously.
The governor of the central bank should be responsible and should be reporting and should be accountable to his board. If he chairs that board, there's the risk, which is very real, that he could take over the agenda of the board.
But the emergence of a second center of power within the central bank has raised concern, with outgoing Governor Professor Njuguna Ndung'u saying it goes against best practice. Moreover, the role could be a potential source of ambiguity that could harm the economy in case of a crisis requiring swift action.
In most of our state corporations, the chairs are starting to behave like they are the CEOs, which is not correct governance.
But the biggest reservation with the new structure is the decision that the chairman would determine the policy and objectives of the central bank, which could affect formulation of monetary policy. And this contravenes the principles of the independence of the central bank.
The Constitution says the central bank will not be under any direction of anybody in doing its work.
As such, the experts want the state to properly define and separate the roles of the governor from those of the chairman, so that there is no ambiguity, and establish a proper firewall that will isolate the formulation of monetary policy from any interference.
If the chair becomes an administrative, what I would call authority for allowing the correct discussions to happen in the board, but not to allow the technical part of the work of the bank, which is where the word monetary policy comes in. That area of monetary policy should never be a domain of the chair.
The spokesperson for the institution should actually be the chief executive, in this case the governor, who is responsible and should be explained to the public. This is what we aim to achieve.
Of the 8 people who applied for the role of chairman, the PAC shortlisted 4, among them Dr. Bernard Wagasha, the outgoing CBK chairman, Dr. Benson Ateng, currently chair of Consolidated Bank, Dr. Nicholas Koriru is presently at the Commerce Monetary Institute, and Mohamed Nyaoga, chairman of EcoBank. Adelaide Changole, KTN Business.